Well, hi, everybody. A very pleasant Friday morning to you, wherever you might be on this beautiful day. And this is Steve Dolan back here on Dolan's Dugout along with Ramon Scott. Just a reminder, of course, as you all know by now, the Padres beat Arizona 8-7 yesterday on opening day. Ramon, I know you're smiling about that. I have a few comments I wanted to make, but before that, your take on yesterday's game.
Well, Steve, I think the big story, other than us winning and the blue team losing, was the fans. I think it's an overwhelming story, really. I think the backbone of the whole day had to do with the fans. It was an incredible game, a good opponent. Even Mad Bum, hats off to him and his little hit he had, and to Arizona for bringing a great game. But to have fans in these ballparks yesterday, it was thrilling. Even that annoying lady in the Seattle game late last night screaming after every pitch, I appreciated her too.
Yeah, they were there. And hey, I just want to do a couple quick takes on yesterday's game. First of all, we know the heroes. The heroes, Eric Hosmer, home run, 3 RBIs. The last 2 seasons on opening day, 9 RBIs. So certainly Eric Hosmer's Mr. Opening Day. We know about Will Myers, of course, Will hitting the home run and scoring a couple of times. We know about those guys. They were, to me, definitely players of the game. But, there's the unsung heroes. We talked last time, Ramon, about the bullpen. We talked about the Padres have 4 potential closers, and they went in order yesterday. 6th inning, Keona Kela. 7th inning, Emilio Pagan, who I thought would probably be the 9th inning guy. Drew Pomeranz in the 8th, and then Mark Melancon in the 9th, all 7 pitches of them. Those guys pitched 4 shutout innings to hold on to a game. When they first came in, the Padres were down 7-6. I thought they were definitely heroes of the game. And 2 other guys who aren't getting talked about a whole lot today, but number one, Giuseppina Marcano, who made the roster by having a great spring. In the 6th inning, he led off with a walk in the bottom of the 6th inning. The Padres had given up those 4 home runs in the top of the 5th. All of a sudden, they're behind 7-6. Marcano leads off as a pinch hitter and draws a walk. He scores, so that ties the game. Another hero who maybe is not getting talked about a whole lot, how about Jake Cronenworth? In the 7th inning, it's tied 3-3. I'm sorry, in the 7th inning, it's tied 7-7. He leads off with a triple and then scores in the sacrifice fly by Jurickson Profar. The thing about Cronenworth yesterday, he batted 4 times, got on base all 4 times, scored 3 runs. I mean, he had a triple, single, 2 walks. So I thought really Jake Cronenworth was another hero yesterday. And like you said, the fans were big heroes. And one last thing about yesterday's game too, Ramon. Obviously, Fernando Tatis Jr. got the biggest cheer before the game. Good thing people know this is a 162-game season, because if you looked at the game yesterday and said, who were the 2 worst players in the Padres, you'd probably say Tatis and Machado. Combined, they were 1 for 10. And another thing to remember, there in the 5th inning, of course, Arizona hit the 4 home runs. But with 2 outs and nobody on, Tatis makes a throwing error. And then after that, you got a 2-run homer. And then after that, you got a solo homer. So all of a sudden, a 6-4 lead that would have been a 6-4 lead after the inning had he not made the throwing error is 7-6 Arizona. So it's funny because you win with Tatis and Machado not having their best days. I thought that was a big key too.
Well, maybe it's going to be about getting to the back end of that bullpen. We want to talk about the bullpen depth. I really don't have concerns about Tim Hill moving forward. I mean, that was disturbing, but first game, you get a big lead. You could see the emotions run high. Look at all the games throughout the league yesterday. The ones that kind of weren't one-sided ended up being one of those games where the other teams came back and it came very close to where people thought those games were going to result, close games. So sometimes in the emotion of an opening day, something like that can happen. To see those long balls go out, it gave us all cause for concern, but at least threw some drama into it. But also hats off to you, Steve. You touted Yu Darvish's personal catcher, but you basically touted him on how he handles his man. You didn't tout how he was going to come through with the stick.
Oh, my goodness. I forget him as far as the unsung heroes. I mean, his first 2 at-bats, he had 3 RBIs. I'm glad you brought that up, Ramon, because I believe I read today that he was the first Padres catcher since Terry Kennedy in 1983 to have 3 RBIs on opening day. So Caratini, obviously, he's going to be a key right now with Austin Nola sideline. Not only is he going to be Yu Darvish's catcher, but he's going to be catching most pitchers from now on. I mean, you have Blake Snell tonight, of course, Joe Musgrove, Grossmont High on Saturday, and then, of course, Chris Paddock on Sunday to close out this 4-game series with Arizona. And I just saw Caratini. It's funny because he's batting 8th, so you don't figure much from the 8 and 9 spots, and then he goes up his first 2 at-bats, strides in 3 runs, and you're like, this guy can hit. I don't know if he really can, but he sure did on opening day, and that's one thing about opening day is people remember opening day. You play game 45 in the middle of May, it just fits in. You play game 1 on opening day, and people don't forget opening day games.
Yeah, and I think it goes to exactly what you said about the other guys in the lineup, and we talked about them on Monday, but guys like Haas and Myers, I like what they're starting to call Myers because of his new number this year, Cinco de Myers. His nickname moving forward, but he looked great as well. Pham, if anybody, Steve, I'm going to reserve my judgment. I want Pham to continue to see a good trajectory to his career, but I think the most pressure is going to be, other than Fernando trying to live up to his money and Manny, but Pham is my question mark now moving forward, not just off of yesterday's game, but I'm going to need to see consistency from him. Definitely a fan of Phams. I'm in the Pham, but right now moving forward, and I don't think the leadoff spot is the wrong spot for him given the personnel that we have, but he may have to change his approach a little bit in order to be successful in that role.
I agree, and I think when Trent Grisham comes back off the injured list, he'll probably be the leadoff hitter, but it is Pham for now. One thing about Tommy Pham, Ramon, is that he's being paid $8.9 million this year. It's the last year of his contract. He's a free agent after this season, so this is a big season for Tommy Pham personally because, again, he is a free agent. He's getting older, and what will his value be to here or wherever next year? Big question. Good question.
Yeah, for sure. So I don't have any problems with what we saw out of Hill. That was unfortunate, but the way the bullpen came in and did the job and sent everybody home a winner, that was the way to start it off. And then to change the channel and to see the other team down already. We're not worried too much about the Rockies. We're going to respect all these opponents in our division. Glad we're up there tied with the Rockies right now, beating the Dodgers. The Dodgers, they got 2 hits. The first 2 batters of the reached base, Steve, and Twitter was already exploding. Oh, this is going to be a fun season. And I had the last laugh looking at that just because their first 2 men got on base. They lost handily in that game. So we can preview this series continue to preview this series tonight. I think we definitely have a big advantage on the mound tonight with Blake Snell.
Oh, yeah. But the thing, Ramon, tonight, I'm looking at my notes now. Blake Snell tonight is up against Merrill Kelly. Most people maybe haven't heard of Merrill Kelly. The one thing I remember last year, he pitched twice against the Padres. He gave up 1 earned run in 12 1/3 innings. So Blake Snell is going to have to be on his best tonight, too. I mean, and then, of course, Saturday with Joe Musgrove out of Grossmont High School, he'll go against Caleb Smith. And then Sunday afternoon, you're going to have Taylor Widner pitching for Arizona. And, of course, Chris Paddock starting for the Padres. And, of course, when you look at the Padres starting rotation, one of the biggest question marks, if not the biggest, is Paddock. I mean, his ERA was over 10 during the spring. I don't take spring numbers that seriously usually, except for the fact that Paddock had such a bad season last year. I mean, he was so bad last year that in the playoff series against the Dodgers, they wouldn't even start him. They were afraid that, as poorly as things were going already, that they thought, is he going to be able to get out of the first or second inning? So I think Chris Paddock has a lot to prove, and we'll see in Sunday afternoon's game.
Oh, for sure. And now you look at the depth, the veterans on this staff. Yes, we all got behind Paddock quickly because of his potential and his persona. I think a lot of Padre fans adhered themselves to his personality and liked his bravado a bit, but if you're not performing, it grows thin really quick. I think that most of the hardcore fans are pulling for Chris Paddock to get that form back or continue his career improvement. But I do know also that a lot of the fans that I consider them hardcore because I just follow the Twitter feed all day, but they're the ones that, you know what, if things don't work out, we wouldn't be surprised to see something in the future with different pitchers in the rotation and maybe Paddock's role changing. But right now, the job's still his, and he can go out and just throw solid. He should have a lot of comfortability because of all the support around him. And when I mean support around him, I mean the starting pitching. He should not feel any pressure to go out and be a stopper of any kind. Just go out there, get innings in. That's the way to get your season on track.
Exactly, because as you know, last year, Paddock coming off of the great season in 2019, he pitched on opening day when it finally came in late July. So he's gone from the guy you expected to be your ace to your number 4 starter. And even though Murray Holland's pitching Monday against the Giants in the series opener, I mean, you could question it right now, is he better than Paddock? We don't know. And Paddock, I don't think he's looking over his shoulder yet, but you know what? I mean, they've still got a couple of young guys. You know, you got Mackenzie Gore, who knows what's happened to him, though. I mean, I thought by now he'd be up here in the starting rotation. You've also got Ryan Weathers, who made the team and who's in the bullpen right now. Gore and Weathers can also start. So right now you got 5 starters, and there's 2 more right there. That's 7. And, of course, Dinelson Lamet comes back. And when Lamet comes back, somebody has to be out of the rotation unless the Padres decide to go with 6, which I don't think they'll do, except maybe early in the season. So, yeah, there is a little bit on Paddock that, as a number 4 starter, he needs to do well, or who knows what happens from there. I mean, because, again, once Lamet comes back, somebody's out of the rotation. If it's Adrian Morejon, I don't know if that's that big a deal because he goes to bullpen and he gives you another long guy there along with Ryan Weathers. Because, Ramon, one thing that's going to happen here a lot early with these teams, starting pitchers aren't going more than 5 or 6 innings. So you're going to need guys in the bullpen. And, again, yesterday the Padres, after Tim Hill, went with the 4, closer-type guys with Kella, Pagan, Pomerantz, Melanson. But you're going to need long guys, too. And, I mean, I don't know, if Paddock struggles, he may become a long guy in the bullpen.
And what was your assessment on Yu Darvish's start? Probably not exactly what we were looking for, but like I said, when you get a lead, sometimes you can let up a little bit. I know that he was hoping for more out of himself as well, but I think given the circumstances, there's nothing wrong with the way his day went.
Yeah, I thought, in the first inning, we talked about Jake Cronenworth being a hero with a bat. Well, Cronenworth also made a diving stop on Escobar's ground ball. The D-backs had already scored 1 run. They had runners on first and second with 2 out, and I thought Cronenworth's diving play to get Escobar out to end the inning, that saved more damage. And in the 5th inning, you could tell Darvish was tiring, but to Jace Tingler's credit, he went out to the mound ready to take Darvish out of the mound. Darvish said, I have this, even though he didn't, as it turned out. But for Jace Tingler to trust his pitcher, I thought was pretty encouraging. And Darvish pitched well. I thought, he tired in the 5th. He threw 93 pitches, 64 for strikes, which was a very good percentage. I mean, in the first couple of innings, he's throwing first pitch strikes like the first 8 batters. So he was getting ahead of people. I thought that was great. And again, I don't know if it's just an early season issue or what, but it seemed like as his pitch count got up, he wasn't doing so well. And again, he wasn't as sharp as he's capable of being, but he only gave up 1 run through 4 innings, and then in the 5th inning, it all came apart. You mentioned Tim Hill, too. Yes, Tim Hill did give up the back-to-back home runs that let Arizona go ahead 7-6. But on the other hand, going back to what we said at the top of the show, if on the ground ball with 2 outs, on Escobar's ground ball with 2 outs, it gets Tim Hill out of the inning. Tim Hill came in to get that 1 out, 1 batter. He got the ground ball, but then Tatis is throwing there, and then 2 batters later, you have a 2-run homer and a solo homer, and the D-backs all of a sudden are up 7-6. So, again, but going back to Darvish, thought he's, certainly he's going to be sharper, but again, he looked good until the 5th inning, and I thought maybe it was just a matter of these pitchers now, they're just not up in their pitch count. I thought 93 pitches was a lot. You look at, Houston last night, Zach Greinke came out after the 6th, and he was under 90, so Darvish, I thought, extended himself as much as he could, and he'll have better days, too.
Well, I think Ting is operating from a position of strength, and you've talked about question marks with the bullpen, and I think that's where a lot of our question marks lie with the team. But I just continue to say that it looks like there's so many arms, so I think that's where you can have some comfortability, and that's where games are going to be won and lost, especially if you have a solid back end of the bullpen and great starting pitching like the Padres are supposed to. We're going to need those middlemen to make sure that we get through those times. That might be the difference between the championship clubs and the teams that don't have as many arms. So, if they're not the most stellar, and he was good with Kansas City. So, they got him for a reason. And, like I said, I think that they feel like they can go with any of the arms. There's not questions right now, especially because there's not a lot of injuries on the surface to the starting roster in the season. There's enough personnel that they can maximize their bullpen as they did last night. So I thought it was thrilling, thought it was great. Maybe it was better than it was exciting, especially with all the fans. What did the guys say? What did Don and Mud say to you when they turned off those mics about the atmosphere at the park?
Oh, they thought it was great. I mean, they said on the telecast too, Ramona said, the fact that fans were there, like you said at the top of the show here, I mean, that made such a difference. I mean, the actual turnstile attendance was 8,773, again, 20%. And hopefully
about 25,000.
Yeah, it did. And hopefully San Diego goes into the orange tier next week, because if we do, then this first homestand, the first 7 games, once it's over, we could go up to maybe 33% of Petco Park if we get in the orange tier. So the attendance is going to keep going up. But, again, when Tatis was introduced before the game, those 8,700 sounded more like 87,000. I mean, people were just so happy to be there. Ramon, what was interesting to me, I got down there yesterday a little bit after 9 in the morning, almost 4 hours before the game, and people were already hanging out by the ballpark. There was a long line at the Padres store to buy souvenirs, and you just saw people downtown. And after the game, driving out on 6th and K, going up 6th Street, you just saw people actually going up 7th Street. You saw people everywhere. And it was just so celebratory downtown. It wasn't, I remember after the Padres beat St. Louis in Game 3 last year, the wild card, to advance in the playoffs, it was just going nuts down there. This wasn't the same as that, but it was close. People were just happy. Number one, the baseball was back, but number 1A, even more so, that fans are back. And let's hope that we keep getting going better tiers here in California, so the attendance keeps going up from 8,700 to maybe we get 14,000, 15,000 the next homestand if we get in the orange tier.
Yeah, and we already did see one team have some the Washington Nationals have had some issues with the COVID, and it bothers me a little bit. It's not here to have a discussion. We were talking Padres baseball, but I understand, to put the game aside, but it makes you think what we're all doing. If baseball is going to be so cautious as to take steps like that, maybe the rest of society is doing everything wrong with how we're starting to go about. And every region of the country is different. So I think we're lucky here to have such good numbers. But whether we've been too conservative or not doesn't matter now, because we're in the baseball season and we're back at Petco Park. And it's just thrilling to see. So like I said, Steve, it wasn't bad to see the Dodgers lose that first game, and everything came out okay. But moving forward, I think that we still have question marks. But one game, I'm not going to dwell on any problems.
Yeah. Well, Ramon, it's interesting. Let's talk about the Dodgers. There were 2 plays in Major League Baseball yesterday that I just thought was hilarious. They were hilarious. One was when Cody Bellinger hit what was supposed to be a home run over the left field wall. Justin Turner was on first base, like the left fielder caught it. So as Turner was going forward, he thought the ball was caught, so he went backwards. But as he went backwards, Bellinger went forward and passed him on the base pass. So instead of a home run, Bellinger's out. I thought that was hilarious. Another one in Detroit, they were playing in a snowstorm there. Miguel Cabrera hit a home run in the snow, but he couldn't see the ball. So he slid into second base on a home run. When's the last time you saw somebody slide into second on a home run? So, again, it's one of those things you can watch an entire season and not have a day where you're going to have 2 things that quirky. So I thought the whole day in baseball, it was great that baseball was back, but very funny that the Dodgers couldn't run the bases right. The Miguel Cabrera slid into second, but got up and finished his home run.
Yeah, they said he hit a frozen rope in that game. So I just the fact that the way the league starts now, and I know this year and last year is a little bit different. I mean, it used to be the Cincinnati Reds open the season and then everybody else could open the season. But those days are long gone now. Traditions are out the window, right?
Exactly. Of course, yesterday everybody's supposed to open right now in Boston. Of course, like you said, was canceled in D.C. I mean, that's just the way it is. I mean, we're lucky here in San Diego. I mean, it was hot down there yesterday, 85 degrees in downtown San Diego. It's not supposed to get that hot downtown during the summer. So it was, it was hot. But then again, I don't think people minded at all the fact they were back. It kind of reminded me last October when we did the American League playoffs here with Turner Sports. It was October, and a lot of us were wearing shorts at night when it should have been freezing at night. We were hot. It's just been amazing, the weather in downtown San Diego, how it was in the mid-80s for opening day. I haven't heard, but my guess is 85 degrees on opening day is certainly the hottest it's ever been at Petco Park and maybe ever in San Diego, because it's not supposed to be 85 in April.
Yeah, in fact, I don't know if it was yesterday or the day before, but the airport did have a all-time high for that particular date. So we definitely are dealing with record heat, but nobody is worried. Nobody was worried about that at this point. It just looked spectacular out there. After we got off to the big lead, I was just hoping for just a comfortable win, blow these guys out of the water, especially Bumgarner. Didn't want to see him get on track a little bit, and he had his moments. He was upset a little bit too, and he got his big hit. So good for him. Good on him. But right now, it's still. I just don't see it being anything other than our two teams. What we talked about on Monday with the Padres and the Dodgers. So getting a 1-game lead every day. That's going to be the deal. Look at our score. Look at their score. That's the way it's going to be.
Exactly. And again, as I say, this weekend we have 3 more games. Friday night, tonight, 7:10. Saturday night, 5:40. Sunday afternoon, 1:10 on Easter Sunday against Arizona. Then the Giants come in for 3. And, that's going to be an interesting series too, because although I'm sure the Padres will, or at least should, finish ahead of the Giants, San Francisco is still a formidable team. I thought last year, the Giants went 29-31 with nothing. And, Buster Posey's back this year too, and he had a good opening day. So that'll be a key series. And again, I would think if I'm the Giants, we talked about this last show, the Padres last year in the regular season, they won their last 3 games in San Francisco, which meant nothing to the Padres because they were already in. All the Giants need to do is win one of those 3 games to get in the playoffs, but it didn't happen. So I'm sure they remember that. So again, looking forward to the Giants series next Monday and Tuesday night and Wednesday afternoon. But before that, heck, let's get on with this Diamondback series. Because again, this is the thing we need to talk about, is how the Padres need to beat teams like Arizona, the teams that aren't so good. I mean, Madison Bumgarner's their ace. I mean, I'll tell you what, Arizona's going to regret signing him 5 years for $85 million. This is his 2nd year. He's not a shell of his old self. I mean, he's thrown too many pitches in his career. In my opinion, I don't even think he'll finish that 5-year career in Arizona, that 5-year contract. And if he does, they're going to be regretting that contract and regretting the numbers that he is or is not putting up.
It kind of reminds me of some of the signings the Padres would do to kind of put lipstick on a pig. Back in the day, they'd make a modest free agent signing, but he'd be the only one guy on the team. We'd have 1 hitter and 1 pitcher, maybe, But we'll preview the Giants series on Monday, Steve. But looking ahead, it looks like we'll see DeSclafani in the opener, followed by Aaron Sanchez. I think he might have he's had some success. I'm not sure against us. But not very many appearances, obviously. And then Kevin Gausman, who had an opening day start yesterday for the Giants, we'll see him in the game on Wednesday. So not bad pitchers to face. The Giants have some veterans going for sure.
Yeah, and Ramon, it's interesting because the Padres will go with, of course, Morejon on Monday night, and then I would imagine he'll stay in rotation with Darvish Tuesday and Snell on Wednesday. They haven't announced that for sure yet, but I'm sure that's where they're going to go. And going down the line, the Dodgers come in here 2 weeks from tonight on April 16th. They're here for a 3-game series on that weekend. The way it lines up now, most likely the Padres will go with Motorhome, Darvish, Snell. And, the Dodgers don't do well against left-handed pitching. So you'd have a lefty on Friday, a lefty on Sunday, and you, Darvish, in the middle, which isn't bad. And, of course, we all remember Blake Snell the last time he pitched against the Dodgers in the World Series. We remember how he had that 2-hit shutout going, and he was gone. But anyway, Ramon, hey, it's been great catching up with you today. And like I say, we'll be back Monday morning at 11 to recap the Arizona series. And, of course, to look forward to the Giants series and the Padres' first road trip after that.
Yeah, let's start knocking out these division games and get up on these guys and get a full steam ahead in April here. So excited. So excited. This is it. We talked about last one. This is our season. We're going to be here twice a week to see how it goes. We'll be able to look back and look at our triumphs and our celebrations and hopefully not our misery.
Exactly. And Ramon, thanks so much for having me today. And again, a reminder for everybody too, you got prep football coming up tonight too. After that great Granite Hills Steel Canyon game.
Oh my God, it was a brilliant game. Just a brilliant game last night. Maybe it wasn't well played, but exciting. Those two teams nonetheless. And your El Capitan Vaqueros are playing for their perpetual trophy tonight against West Hills. We're going to show that. We're going to stream that. I think they have a stream going, but I think we have permission to get out there and we're going to stream some of that game and also stream from a couple of undefeated teams, Santana and Mount Miguel. So some good prep football action tonight. I'll have my old transistor radio is what I'll get out, Steve, and listen to Jesse and the gang on the broadcast.
It'll be fun. And Ramon, thanks so much again for having me, and want to wish everybody, of course, on Sunday a happy Easter. And everybody have a great weekend. Look forward to being back with you Monday morning.
Go Pods.